welcome to a brand new series. This week I'm in Pattaya in Thailand. It's on the coast, about a 2-hour drive from Bangkok.
Pattaya was primarily a fishing village before being used as a rest and recreation centre for US soldiers during the Vietnam War. When I first came here nearly 30 years ago, the waterfront was hardly developed. Now it's one of Thailand's largest cities.
I'm here to meet a man who's brought profound change, not just to this area, but to the entire country, by redefining what business can do.
Michai Viravidya has pioneered a whole new business model. He calls it social capitalism and runs restaurants, resorts and factories throughout the country. He believes only business can eradicate poverty.
No government can do everything, and it's certainly not my government, so we all need to help. We, the citizens, own the house. The government only rents it for 4 years, so we've got to help.
Michai Viravidya's career spans both government and business. He's been the chairman of several of the largest government-owned enterprises. He's also started 18 other social enterprises of his own. He's been recognised by Asia Week as one of the 20 great Asians and been acclaimed by Time magazine as an Asian hero. We first met up at what is probably still his best-known social enterprise, the profits from which have been used to fund a highly successful campaign against HIV.
We're at the entrance of our Cabbages and Condoms restaurant, and we have these models who are dressed in condoms. And,
right, so he sort of is there to greet us as we come in, and he's totally covered in condoms.
And condoms, and the boots are made from oral contraceptive pills. So it's all related to family planning.
The whole thing is?
Sex, yes.
And you have how many of these restaurants?
We have 14 in Thailand, and 2 in Japan, and 1 in England, and we hope to expand.
Right.
And then as you enter, you see all these condoms. We call them our lifesavers.
It's hard to know quite how to sort of react, really, because it's quite funny in a way that there are condoms everywhere.
Well,
but how should I be reacting, I suppose?
In the beginning, you're surprised.
Yeah.
But then afterward, you see it's fun, it's relaxing. Before long, you're used to it. It's like, you know, imagine if you saw a dinosaur for the first time, then you saw a dinosaur every day in your back garden, you'd be quite relaxed with a dinosaur.
I'm told that after dinner, you get
condom. Yes.
You get a condom.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
But you can get some more for self-help here.
How did the idea come about?
I just realized that if you show birth control pills to people, they don't laugh. There's no reaction. But if you give them condoms, especially if you blow them up, huge reaction. And then you've won their attention. It's a wonderful multi-purpose product. You can use the lubrication for aftershave lotion. So how can one be embarrassed by such a wonderful product?
Put like that, you're right. I'm sure about it. But these restaurants, obviously they're serving a greater good,
yes,
but they're also business enterprises.
Absolutely. You can't expect to live off the generosity of others forever. We call this our social enterprise. And we fund our activities. Actually, at the moment, we fund almost 70% of all our activities from the profits of our social enterprises.
I'm told that in Thailand, condoms are often referred to as michai.
All that they're called michai.
Michai,
This started in 1973 when I was giving condoms all over the place, and now it's a proper noun in the dictionary. Very, very few young boys are called michai, except when the condom breaks. So that's
so you really are Mr. Condom?
Yes, yes, yes. I don't mind about that.
No,
it's great.
No,
yeah.
Why should you? But this is a very unusual sort of business idea.
Yes. Well, you have to be different. If you're not rich, you don't have big money for advertising, you have to be different.
He's now busy transforming attitudes to growing food. This, he believes, can be the garden of the future.
We have beer cans, so this is our beer garden, Coke garden, and many other gardens.
And your vegetable shoe tree,
and then the shoe trees, yes.
So it looks very wacky, but it's here for a serious purpose.
It demonstrates that you can do many things. Each post that is 2 meters tall is equivalent to 2 meters of space on the ground. So when you have little space, it's perfect.
Over there, I can see a lettuce growing out of an old trainer.
Yes, this would be more than enough for one family to eat without having to buy any vegetables. and they could sell some too.
What he's doing here is much more than just a gimmick. Most farmers in Thailand grow one rice crop a year. It barely sustains them. He's pioneering more efficient, and it has to be said, unusual methods.
This is the onion banana. You just punch a hole,
Yeah.
and you put the onion in, and it starts sprouting.
So that's an onion growing out of a banana?
Yes.
And why?
Because firstly there's moisture there. So in other words, just to show you there are so many ways that you never learned in school or in books, but there are certain ways of doing things, the natural way.
So the banana is effectively
It's the moisture, yes.
watering and keeping alive the onion.
That's it. Now let me show you. I'll just remove one from the other side.
Okay.
Okay, here it is. Remove it. You see?
Yeah.
They're the roots. It's just like being in the ground.
That's extraordinary. I've never thought of doing
when people
that.
see this, they just laugh.
But this whole approach to agriculture really sort of would completely change
Yes.
the whole industry.
For instance, you're growing bananas and you're growing onions.
Yeah.
You need 2 pieces of land, but here you don't. 1 piece is enough. Our job is to get people out of poverty, to have a reasonable life, and then slowly move up the line. So what we're doing, we call it privatizing poverty eradication. I can put it back in again too.
Put it into a different hole?
Yeah.
You just make the hole? And the banana doesn't mind?
Well,
Doesn't seem to.
They've not complained too harshly to yet.
This market garden is tended by staff at his hotel resort, operated again as a social enterprise. Each member of staff has to look after at least 10 rings of vegetables, and they sell their produce to the hotel kitchen.
It's not so much the money, but it's competition.
How do you mean?
I want to be very good with my vegetable. People say, wow, he really knows how to grow, and they learn from each other. Many of them come from the land.
How important is it, I'm just wondering, for you as a business, having staff that are motivated, that are doing all this?
Oh, it's very good. Firstly, cost is one thing, but the most important one is the spirit of the staff. They feel good, they feel that they belong, and this place belongs to them, and they work very, very hard. And there have been so many people remarking on that because, they feel good about it. We pay them very, very fairly. They can get their children to be cared for. Usually mothers have to leave children with grandparents. They bring their children here. Some even bring their grandparents here. And so we say there's plenty of work for elderly people too.
It's fantastic, and I wish all enterprises were like this. But is it possible for them to be like this?
Yes. If the government would say to them, now it's a law, and we'll give you 200% tax reduction on what you spend on doing this, they'll do it because money talks.
Right. But would the enterprises be profitable? I mean, can you actually be profitable?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're profitable. We have enough profit to build a school.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the snag. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be negative. I'm just trying to...
And the guests love it. They come around, they walk, and they see the staff doing it, not lying down, smoking and drinking beer, but in the garden doing things. And it's very therapeutic. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the snag, because there's got to be one.
Well,
because why isn't everybody doing this?
Because they don't have to think about it. Because money is their joy. So money is the target. Whereas to me, joy is more than money. Money, yes, we need, but we want people who work with us to feel they're human beings with dignity, just like me. Not you're dirt and I pay you and you just do what I ask. I want them to feel it's a sense of equality. Just like the electric train in Bangkok. Doesn't matter how big your diamond is. If it's standing room only, it's standing room only for everyone. That's probably the best thing about our electric train. It's democracy, not its punctuality.
Just outside the garden lie the crowded, noisy streets of Pattaya. We were headed towards breakfast at his memorably named Birds and Bees Resort.
We've arrived back at your resort, and we've also arrived at a fork in the road. We've got the capitalist walk going that way and the communist walk going that way.
So we'll take the capitalist walk, and if we come back on the capitalist walk, it happens to be on the left, it turns into a communist walk.
Okay, all right.
You can't tell the difference between communist and capitalist now.
You don't think we can?
Not on this road. But in reality, you look at Vietnam, you look at China, it's a communist country, but look at the capitalism that's going on.
He's very definitely underwhelmed by the Asian economic miracle of recent times.
It's powerhouse for those who are fortunate enough to be at the top end. It's not a powerhouse for the poor. And what we need to do is to get those at the top to help take care of the poor through business enterprise, not through charity. That's what we need to do. You have the GDP as high as you want, but it doesn't cover the bottom. Often when you pour water on the mountain, it doesn't reach the bottom, it just goes halfway down.
Does it not, though? Surely it does trickle down. The wealth is trickling down?
If it were trickling down at a reasonable rate, we wouldn't have the poor that we have today. For instance, we have about 8 million people in Thailand out of 62 who are living below poverty line of $2 a day. The poor are business people who lack business skills and access to credit, and the ones who can help them are the business people who really would like them to join in. Some come around, some listen. That's the point. I'm telling them now that you take a look what's been happening in the Middle East. It's not because of politics, it's because of deprivation of not only rights, but of economic growth, of opportunity to earn income. Now, it will come to our country too. Poverty will beat you in the long term if you don't beat it while you're at the top.
After the break, more with one of Asia's most unconventional business leaders. Welcome back to Thailand, where we're with Michai Viravaidya, a pioneer of what he calls social capitalism. His results speak for themselves. The campaign he led against HIV saw new infections in Thailand drop by 90%. The World Bank estimates over 7.5 million lives have been saved. He's now convinced $100 of investment per person is enough to lift people out of poverty forever. His organization has already given economic help to more than 600 local villages. More funds, though, are needed from commercial sponsors.
We must recognize the fact that the only road out of poverty is through business. So what we do is that we select a village, tell them that if you're interested, there will be a partner from a company to work with you, but you have to also work hard at it. And then we go to the company and say, this village is ready, would you like to partner them? If the company says yes, then they meet. And the villagers decide what they want to do to improve their village in the future. The key element is to help produce a microcredit fund, which we call the Village Development Bank.
Right, so you make micro
the money comes in from the company.
Before people can get any money from this microcredit, what have they got to do?
Well, firstly, you've got to get the money into the fund, and then you must go through training. If you want to raise pigs or chicken or make ice cream or roast chicken or clothes, you must be trained in that discipline by people who really know. And after the teacher says to the bank or to the microcredit fund, these people are ready, you can lend them, these two I need to train further. And then they borrow money to do the business. And then they start making money and they repay the loan 12% a year and they get out of poverty. We guarantee that maximum of 5 years, between 3 and 5, we will get everyone in that village out of poverty. It's been 25 years and we can guarantee that that happens.
I can't quite understand why it's not been taken up more.
Some people try to do it. You've got this microcredit stuff. But the way we do it, which is different, is that we let the villagers operate the fund rather than somebody above. If you have somebody above doing it, they have high costs, so the interest rate must be high. So ours is low. We get the villagers to do it. Many other loans that the government like to do is that they take the money in and it's available and the people didn't have to earn the money at all. So they said, why do we need to pay back? Don't have to worry, the government is rich.
The centre of Pattaya can be a confronting place, but it also tells you much about the local economy.
At night, it's like Luna Park all lit up with bodies everywhere, with lights, with Westerners walking along. A lot of elderly men who have come here from many countries to look for companionship and sex. On the one hand, you feel sorry for them because not even dogs would look at them in their own country. So here they get sympathy, they get good treatment, so they come.
It's estimated that about 20,000 women are involved in prostitution here, many of them from poor rural communities. Young girls can find themselves specially targeted by brothel owners.
They go to families that they've learned that are poor, that have a daughter, would be interested in getting their daughters to go to work and earn some money to send home. A lot of daughters do that, honestly. And so they go and talk to them. If the family agrees, in 2 years' time, your 11-year-old daughter will come and take her, give her a job, and here's the deposit. That's the end of that family, because you've taken the deposit, and then you have to be honest and repay the agreement. So in 2 years' time, they come and take the daughter. Yes, we're going to take good care.